If you have kids, you're going to want to do this math. I'm Toree. I'm a serial entrepreneur, just doer. I own a real estate team. I have a podcast and I have 5 children. And I think you'll find this helpful. I was chatting with my peer the other day and we were talking about our kids and how they're growing up so fast. And she's already buying her son a car. And I looked at her and she's like, well, what are you doing for your kid? And I said, I'm not buying my kids a car. I got 5. They got to earn their own car. But the second I realized that, I thought to myself, well, wait a second. If my son's 10, my oldest, and he needs to earn his own car, he needs to start now. So later that night at the dinner table, we were chatting, and then on to bedtime, we kept chatting. And this came up with my son. And I said, bud, cars, for you to get from A to B, may by the time you turn, 15 when you can drive, might be close to 10 grand. You need 10 grand to be able to buy your first car. And yes, I know there are cars that are less or more, but I'm just throwing out a number here. And since he's 10 now, and in 5 years he'll be 15, we just used 5-year mark. Okay, if you need $10,000 in 5 years, how much money per year do you need, bud? $2,000, Mom. The math checks. Great. Now what's 2,000 divided into 12? Just under $170 a month. So we were discussing, well, from here on out, you can just earn $170 a month. By the time you're 15, you'll be able to buy your first car. Then we started brainstorming all the ideas of what he could do to earn $175 a month or $170 a month. Landscaping, washing cars, pop cans, soda cans, beer cans, whatever you want to call them. There's a lot. But then I told him, buddy, I pay my landscapers like $200 a month. And so he said, I could do that. And I said, well, but you're not good at it yet, so I'm not going to pay you that much. And then he got a little bit bummed out. But you got to learn to get good. And you got to learn to build that value. You don't just get it out of nowhere. So then we started doing all the math of how many houses he would have to do and what he could do to earn that money. And then we dove in deeper and said, well, what if we want to earn it in 2 years or 1 year? Then we started doing that math. Long story short, just work the numbers backwards. But what I realized is I do this for myself, but I didn't realize that my kids are growing up and they're going to have to do this for themselves for big adult purchases like a car. But then I really started thinking, if he saves up 10 grand, we could probably buy a property that paid for the car. And that's where the fun begins. What do all you mamas think?